Welcome back, everyone. I'm excited to have another video for you. This one we're going to do 2.14 and 2.15, and I think you'll find it very interesting, but there's a few little caveats that I want to go over, especially when it comes to the strings. So we're going to start with characters. Characters, very simple. Just remember that a character is actually stored as a number. So when you press a key such as capital A, it's going to get stored with 65, and then B would be 66. That's how the computer knows what you actually type in. So remember, everything is binary, so a character is 8 bits or 1 byte, and you're able to get all of the characters in there. So let's just go down something simple, and arrow body here, and notice that is a single quote. And you can only have one character, obviously, in a character. So here you would have arrow body, arrow body, arrow body, arrow head should have a dash, a dash, a dash, and then the greater than sign. So we're going to declare a character named middle initial, which is fairly simple. You're just going to type in the word character, which is a data type, and we're going to call it middle initial. Now notice that the I is capitalized. So if you do not put it in capital letters, it's going to mark you off. Now I'm going to make a mistake here. So I'm going to hit the check key, and this is a very common thing to do. And when I press the check key, it should tell me that I left out a semicolon. Remember, all statements have to end in a semicolon. So let's click on check and see what happens. And there it is. It tells me this. So this is what I like about Zybooks, how it tells you exactly what you did wrong. So we're going to go and click on the semicolon. We're going to check, and everything's good here. So now we're going to assign a character value that's declared and just put an A in there. So I'm going to type in user key, which is a variable, and all I need to do is use the assign, which is the equal sign, and a quote, rather a single quote, and the A, and then another single quote. And notice I put a space before the equals and a space after to make it look a little bit more readable. Let's check and see how I did. And not too bad. So here I'll let you do this here. It's basically pretty cut and dry in here. And CIN is getting in a my character. Now remember, if you were to type in CIN and then ABC, whatever is in my char would only be the A, because what happens is it's looking for a single character for CIN, and as soon as it gets something other than that, then that's all. So if you were to put in ABC, it would only put in the A. So we're not going to worry about that right now. And here is a little character, a variables example that you can do. And here is more so you can see how little a is 97. So here are the codes in here. So you can see that we talked about capital A was 65, 66, and goes all the way through. So you might think, well, why isn't little a 91? It's 92. That's because we have this character here, which is a little hard to read. Looks like a period, but or something else. So we don't have to worry about it because we have the chart over here. And we have 48 here. It's pretty simple. If you're doing hex, then it would be 30. So A is stored as, now if I press a 97, that's going to be wrong because we need to do 65. And the capital letters go first. So we're good here. So if we wanted to see what 97 is, we'll go up top here, and 97 is the little a. So we're good here. And it looks like we have other characters as well, the brackets, slash, a caret, and the underscore. So this is stored as, now it's going to tell you no such encoding, but it actually is character 38, I believe. So let's go double check. See if my memory works. It still does, not too bad. So let's click on that. And 7. Now here, if I were to press 7, is stored as 55. So let's go here and we look at 55. That would be wrong because this is the actual number 7. So let's go and see where it's stored at. and we have 7 here, and then in here. So it's a little bit confusing because are we talking about a character or are we talking about a number? So is 7 stored as 7 or is 7 stored as 55? Well, here is the answer to your question. Let's click on 55, and that's wrong. And that's what I was telling you about before, because this is not a string character over here. So it would be the number 7, and to give you a good explanation in here, it's a literal, so you're good to go there. So a variable's memory location stores 88. What is the value? Well, it's pretty easy that it can't be little x because A starts with 92, I believe. So let's go with big X, and we'll check and see what's in here. Big X is 88, so we're good here. Now, let me go over escape sequences. They're kind of neat, but you have to be careful because remember you're working on different operating systems. So these are called escape sequences, and you forward them with a slash over here. So we have /n, /t, then you have a slash for a single quote, a double quote, and a backslash. I just like to say slash. It's just easier for me. The problem is it worked fine in Windows, but not all operating systems in Macs and iOSs recognize escape sequences. So you have to be very careful with that. So normally it's not a good idea to use a new line character. It's always best to use ENDL so that you clear the keyboard buffer. So let's go in here, and goal is to say hello. So let's see what we're going to do. See out in here. So we want to say hello. So you're going to just do here. Now notice you have an extra quote here. So we really don't want that. But what we want is to quote here, and we want to quote here. So if you go back up here, you're going to see a double quote. So let's try this and see how that works. And it's okay to guess what you think is right, and then look at the explanation, and then just go back and learn from it. That's the most important thing. So now here we have assume that a tab character exists between OK and bye. Well, that's a /t. So this is all we need here. And then give it a string A, B, and the first character stored in memory is 97. So here we have to kind of figure this one out. Well, the second character you would think is the backslash, but it's really a single quote. Actually, it's a double quote. So let's go and look and find double quote, which happens to be somewhere. And it looks like 34. So I will find it and choose 34. And we're good. Now here's common errors in here. And this is really challenging. It actually, the first time I did this, it took me 3 times to get it because I put in a space, I spelled a word wrong. So that's no big deal. So now one of the things that's wrong with this, and bear in mind, you should never ever get user input without a prompt. There should be a cout that says, enter the letter you want to quit, and then C in letter to quit. Enter the number of times to press it to quit in here. So remember that when you're doing the lab activity 2.25, that it doesn't tell you to put in a cout. And in fact, when you go and run the activity in Zybooks, if you put a cout, it will mark you off. But when you go and you finally submit it, please make sure that you have the cout in there so that you do not lose points in it, because you definitely can't put something in and expect the user to know what you want. So anyway, so much for that. So let's go. We want to do a cout. And eventually when I click here, we'll do cout. And we have, let's see, press, oops, mini quotes, press the, now we're not going to type in the Q key because we don't know what it is. So what we need to do is find out what the user pressed, which is letter to quit. And then let's see what spaces we need. So we need a key, the word key. Then we need a space here. Then we need the number of presses. And then we need the word times to quit. So let's put in a space before times to quit. And don't forget the period at the end. And then don't forget the semicolon. So I'm going to run it. And if I did everything right, I should get the correct answer. Let's see what happens here. And boom, I did not do it right. So, oh, that's right. I did not read it. I tried to do this by memory, and I missed the end line character. So let's go back and do that. Put in the end line character. And let's see what happens. So we're good here. So I'm going to let you work on this on your own. And we're going to go to strings. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time, but not a real long time on this. So let's go in here. Now, bear in mind, a string little is a bunch of characters. If you've done C before, you might see it as a character array. But strings are much more efficient. Now, the reason why you don't see anything in 506 because the null characters put in there are called the terminator, so it knows when the end of the string is. So we have which items are string literals. Everything that's a string literal is going to be in quotes. So this definitely is. This is. This is not. This is. Now take a look at this. You might want to say, yes, it is, but look at the single quotes. So it is not a string literal, and this is. So now we are going to go into declaring them. Very simple. Instead of character, we're going to use string. And that'll let us get as many characters as we need, depending upon whether we use cin or getLine, which you'll see shortly. So we want to do user name. And we will just put in a semicolon. And let's do one more here. Write a statement that assigns username with Sarah. So it's simple. User name equals Sarah. And if I did it right, I will get green. So we're good here. Now this is a little tricky here. So it says, suppose string 1 is initially hello and string 2 equals hi. So now we're going to do string 1 equals string 2. What that really means is take the value of string 2 and put it into string 1. So it tells us to omit the quotes. So initially 2 and string 2 is hi, so it should be hi. And that's good. So I will let you take care of this here. And let us go and looking at white spaces. White spaces is anything that really is not a number, a letter, or a character. There's a few other things in there, but that's basically what it is. So when you're doing a cin, and we're looking for a string, the first non-letter is going to end input. So here we have cin uses string, and if they type in ABC, well, then the answer should be ABC. So we'll see here. Now, this is a little bit different because this is hi, a space, and then there. So it's going to wind up happening as soon as you hit that space, then hi is going to be put in there and space, and there is going to be left in the keyboard buffer. So let's try hi and see how we did here. And we're good here. So now we have, looks like hello, a space, a space tired. So let's just try hello. And the exclamation mark, and let's go here, and we're good here. Now, this is a little sneaky here because it looks like space, space, and very. So this is a little sneaky in here. So spaces are ignored. So let's look and see if it actually just puts in very. And let's go and see what happens. So we're good here. So notice the white spaces are just ignored here. So here we have, this isn't too tricky, but it's a little tricky. So it's telling us C in first string, C in second string. So assuming that you are using C in, the space is going to end up input. So this, let's see, indicate we want to know what is the second string, should be my. And we'll do one more. And let's try Sinatra. And let's see if I did that right. We did good. Now here we have a little sneaky thing. This is actually O, and then it looks like either space, 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 or it could be dot, dot, dot. Then the new line character, a bunch of things in here. Then we have, looks like dot, dot, dot. So this is going to go into first string. All this stuff here is going to be ignored. So let's try the dot, 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 and no, and see how that works. And we're good. All right, so I'll leave you for this one here. And our next thing should be getting string with white space. Now, CN is okay. GetLine is much better. What getLine basically does, it inputs until you hit the enter key, and then it puts everything in there. So if I'm going to do the CN getLine, so in first string should be hello there, second string should be welcome. So first string should get hello there. Now, don't be confused with the CN. Basically, this means we want to get a line. Where do we want to get it from? We want to get it from console in or the keyboard. Where are we going to put it? We're going to put it in first string. So now we have I don't know. So what does first string get? It's a little bit tricky in here, of course. Is this the enter key? Are these spaces in here? So to me, it looks like, let's see, once the first string gets, let's go with I, and we're good here. And then you have, hello, hey buddy, what's up? What is second string? So let's try what's up. And we're good here. So I'm going to let you do the rest of these on your own. And just remember, there's one thing that you need to be careful. And there's a video that I have out there on my YouTube channel. And you have to be careful when mixing CN and getLine. The reason why you have to be careful is when you do CN, you're going to hit the enter key. And what will happen there is whatever's left in the keyboard buffer is still there. In other words, the enter key is still in the keyboard buffer. So if you use a getLine directly after it, then it's going to put in whatever is in the keyboard buffer, whether it be a space, a new line, or so be very, very, very careful with that. I have a complete video that explains all of that in here. So let's just take a look at this and see if we can figure out. So we're not worrying about CN here, so that's good over here. So now we have CN string and getLine string 2. So what's going to happen? We have everyone is great. So the first one is, this is the getLine here. Let's go. So the first one is every. So it's certainly not going to be every. What gets into string 2 is everyone. Well, that's a little scary because we're going to put string 1 is going to be every. So then we have a space and then we have 1. So let's go and see what happens if we choose a space and 1. So I'm going with that, and the reason why is you're assuming that you're hitting the end line key here, the enter key. So this is going to be in here space, and then the rest of what's in here, just like if you do is great, it's going to put the is space into the character. So what is the following string in here? So I'm going to leave this for you to figure out. So I'll give you some hints in here. So if everyone is great, so we have string 0 should be every. And then string 1 is should ignore the space. So string 2 should be 1. Then you have CN, and sing 2. So be very, very careful. Let's see. We have everyone is great. So be careful with that, with the spaces. So try this on your own and see how that works. Same with the rest of these. Try these on your own, see how that works out for you. And this is something that you will get to do on your own. And that is all for this video. Please make sure that you leave comments. Let me know what you think, and I look forward to making more for you. So have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day.